evening, folks. We join you this evening from the patio overlooking Burke Field here at the Karl Sisson Athletic Complex. A little different format tonight as Jason Muker's not with us. Jason's actually working the game that's going on right behind us. As you can see, there's a women's soccer game happening right now. And I'm joined today with Karl Sisson. He's our Vice President for Advancement at Houghton. And I will sort of hand things over to him here in a little bit. But before we get to that, and just want to update you on how things are going this spring. As you can see, we're back in action, and this is our second women's soccer game. Men's soccer has competed once. They won their game. Men's basketball actually got their first win of the season last night. Real exciting ending to the game against Elmira College. Women's basketball has competed. They're 3-0. Field hockey and volleyball have their first game tomorrow night. Our indoor track team is competing in the Empire 8 Championships this Saturday. So we are, baseball's 4-0. They haven't lost yet. Softball was actually scheduled to play tomorrow. That game's just been postponed due to the anticipated weather tomorrow, but we are well underway. It's, as I've said to a few folks, it's really exciting to actually see the kids back in action. I mean, I think it was men's basketball was our first event, and being in the gym, it was empty except for the players and officials, but it was awesome to see our athletes back in action. And we've been working so hard to get to this point, and it sounds like a goal. Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. It was Nazareth scored on us, so our women's team's down 1-0 right now. But again, all that to say, we're testing our athletes regularly. We continue to get negative results, which is really a good thing, and so that we can be playing like this out here. And like I said, it's just a lot of time and energy has gone into, and a lot of sacrifices have been made by our athletes, by our coaches, to just sort of get to this point. But again, we wanted to just do this. We knew it was going to be nice today. We wanted to do this outside, sort of showcase our facility here a little bit. And so I mentioned Karl's joining us tonight, and Karl, just want to thank you for all of your support of athletics and for how we've been able to work together, and a lot has gone into. I mentioned the testing, that there's a lot of cost involved with that, and Karl's staff have been sort of integral in helping to make that happen. But why don't you just take some time, share with us a little bit about your role at Houghton, what that means, maybe a little bit about the relationship between your office and athletics.
Sure.
And you were a college athlete yourself years ago, and as was I. But maybe talk with us a little bit about what that meant to you, like
Sure.
why being a college athlete was important.
Yeah, Matt mentioned that how good it was to be back in the gymnasium. He actually texted me Friday night, and he's like, hey, would you be willing to run the shot clock tomorrow for the men's basketball game? And I said, anything to get into the gym.
Right.
So I was a nervous wreck. The whole idea of a reset to 20 and 30 seconds made me nervous. So I didn't enjoy the game as much because I didn't want to make a mistake in the midst of the game. But so good to see the guys playing, running up and down. And I know, as disappointing as it was to have to shut things down a year ago, it makes it that much more exciting and appreciative this year to resume sports. So as Matt mentioned, it's been an honor to serve Houghton College. I serve as the Vice President for Advancement and External Engagement. And engagement is really the goal of mine and the goal of our team, to really engage as many alumni and friends in the life of the college and the mission of the college as we possibly can. And that can take on so many different forms. We have been blessed with the engagement of our alumni in very significant ways. I was just saying to Matt, I was out here almost a year ago. I guess it would have been, June 1st. We were out here, June 12th, I take that back, along with President Mullen, to announce the final results for Impact, the campaign for Greater Houghton. And what better place to be when the Karl Sisson Athletic Complex was at the center and really kicked off the Impact campaign, and to be able to celebrate with the Houghton faithful that we had crossed the $70 million finish line, done so successfully, to have so many thousands of people play a part in that. And athletics were integral into the life of the campaign. Obviously, we were thankful for the lead gift made by Kim and Terry Pagula, but there have been so many other faithful people. Matt mentioned, you talked about the testing. We have alumni that have stepped up to help underwrite the cost of testing, and actually will underwrite it completely at the end of the day. So we couldn't be more thankful. These are things that we couldn't necessarily plan for. What would that mean? And to have a donor say, hey, whatever that gap is, I'll step in and make sure that is taken care of. So we are very grateful for that kind of participation and support. Matt said some years ago we played college athletics. I just hit another milestone here recently, and I'm reminded how many years ago it was that I competed, and I miss those days. I walk into the gym the other day for the basketball game, and my juices start flowing.
You feel it.
Yeah,
You feel
I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
But that athletic experience set the stage for me to think about being, it's interesting. I refer to you've already heard me say that my advancement team. I, in essence, am a coach, and my goal is to inspire and encourage and make everyone that I work with and labor alongside better in the jobs that they are doing, and that's how I look at it. And so I miss coaching. I love coaching as well.
Yeah.
So that's the competition, and there is a bit of competitive spirit that I carry with me in all that I do. So.
We've never seen it in the intramural realm or noon, but we never see it, Karl. But I know it's there.
Yeah, something that doesn't go away. Yeah,
right.
For sure.
Right. Well, you mentioned that. Not, I think I've got a few years on you, but I think back to being an athlete, and I don't know about you, but I can't help but think that you keep in touch with your teammates. You're still in touch with them to a degree. There's a group of us, some of my former teammates are my best friends. One of them is actually my brother-in-law, but we continue to get together and keep each other accountable, and it goes well beyond the sport. Like, it's not about, for me, it was soccer. It's not about soccer anymore. It's about the relationships that were built during that time. I tell our coaches, they've got the best job in the world. It's like years ago, I used to work at summer camp, and as a counselor, you get to work with the kids.
Yeah.
And then you move up into a unit director or a camp director or that kind of a position, which are important roles. But man, the coaches or the counselors at camp, they're on the front lines. They're the ones that get to work with the kids, and in our case, the student athletes. And we want to be about impacting young men and women for the kingdom. And the 4 years that they have in the baseball program or in the soccer program or in the whatever program it is, that's going to be a small piece of helping to prepare them to be better employees, better kingdom impact people, better mothers, better fathers, better husbands, wives, whatever it might be. And we'd like to think that we play a small role in that sort of formulative process that they're going through. And it really is a pleasure. One of the things, you mentioned our alumni coming to step in and help underwrite some of these unexpected costs that we had this year. I'd be remiss if I didn't say one of the things that's been the most challenging and really just sort of heartbreaking sort of situations. We've got a game going on out here, and we have no fans and no parents, no students, none of our student bodies here. Our parents can't be here, and it's really a challenge, and it's really been hard. And it's really out of our hands. It's a New York State thing that we're dealing with right now, and we're hopeful that changes, that the restrictions are lifted. But that's been probably one of the hardest things, as because for as much as our students haven't been able to participate for over a year, the parents haven't been able to enjoy their kids. And I know,
we can empathize.
Yeah, like we've got kids,
and
it's been a loss for the parent too. And we're really hopeful that we get to open it up soon. But again, we got a great night. Soccer games going on. Aside from the fact that we're losing 1-0 right now, there's no fans, and that's been hard. So, hey, I want to transition a little bit and talk about a new thing that we've got going, and we've made some changes in our department that were difficult. But one of the direction that we're heading, we've got a new position in our department that we're looking to fill. And as you know, because you've been involved with it, we've recently, within the last year and a half, we've built 2 18-basket disc golf courses on our campus. Now, Karl and I have become a little bit of junkies here in the disc golf world, which sounds sort of silly. When I first thought about disc golf, I thought, come on, like throwing a frisbee through the woods, come on. But we put a course in our woods up here in the hills, but behind the ski slope, cross-country trails, old cross-country trails. And this past summer, when COVID hit, I can't tell you how many, through the course of the summer, hundreds and hundreds of people probably came through our course.
Yeah.
your kids were like daily regulars.
Yeah, it is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I mean, when you had school completely shut down and my kids are at home and we are limited in the amount of interaction we can have, the ideal sport was disc golf. And I heard about a couple people that were going out, and I'm like, hey boys, you want to give it a shot one day? And we just went out, and it was like, yeah, this is all right, this is kind of neat. And then the bug bit, and literally my oldest sons were out every single day with a group of friends multiple times a day. And it has become, I think it's probably the fastest growing sport in America since the pandemic hit, because you can be outside, because you can be socially distanced. And now tournaments across the country, you can't get in them. If you are not registered within the first minute when the registration goes live, it's good chances you're not going to be able to play.
Yeah.
That's how much demand there is now.
No, I mean, same thing. When the pandemic hit, I've got 5 kids, and 3 of them are out of the home, but they came home because they had to work remotely from their, from where they're working, and so they all came home, and all 5 of our kids were home, and we started going out to play disc golf, and became a regular thing, and it became, I'd say, a real unifying sort of experience for our kids, for my wife and I, and we've just grown to love it. So since then, since the summer, this past fall, we built another course across the road over on our Field of Dreams course. Very different course. For anyone who understands disc golf, you can appreciate this. Our first course is in the woods, very wooded, very hilly, pretty short course.
Technical, hit gaps or hit trees.
You go across the street to the Field of Dreams course. If you can't throw it far, you're in trouble. You're not going to score well. But it's much more wide open, very different kind of course. And so, Karl mentioned tournaments, and if you don't get in them right away, you're not getting in. We're actually hosting our first tournament just less than a month. A Saturday, Sunday weekend tournament featuring both of our courses. We've actually partnered with, I'm going to forget the name of it now. The Southern Tier Disc Golf Club. There's a disc golf club here. And actually, one of the officers is one of our alums.
Right.
And they're putting on the tournament for us. They're running it for us, but we're hosting it here. And that's actually one of the things that, as we build this position and put a real emphasis on growing club sports at Houghton, it's something that we've not really paid close attention to in the past. But that's going to be a real emphasis moving forward. That's going to be probably our highlighted, maybe our front porch club to start. And we're going to be hosting tournaments regularly, and the new person coming in will be in charge of that. And but we couldn't be more excited about the potential we think that really has, not only for the college and the college student community, but the community at large. There's already people on our campus regularly because disc golf is a destination activity. People get on the app. There's an app you use. UDisc. You get on the app and you search for courses and you go. And people are coming here from northern Pennsylvania, from Jamestown, and people are driving over an hour to get to the course. And we're actually somewhat uniquely located in that there's not really another 18-hole course within about a 45-minute radius of us. So we're drawing people. So it's pretty exciting. So, well, I'm not quite sure how things are going behind us. I know it's still 1-0, but or how much you can actually see of the game. Karl, we've got something coming up here in, is it a month from today? I'm trying to remember the exact day. I don't know if you wanted to talk about our one-day giving. Tonight.
Yeah, so the one-day giving challenge has become, such a key component to Houghton's advancement program, but more importantly, to pulling the Houghton community together far and wide. I often say, as far as a one-day giving challenge, pound for pound, no one does it better than Houghton College. And if you look at last year, so last April was our 5th one-day giving challenge, and we had just about 2,200 donors on the day that either gave or pledged over $1.1 million, and that's absolutely incredible. Over 700,000 of that was for our student scholarship fund, which is hugely critical. So our alumni and friends, you will hear more about that literally in the week leading up to it. But we're looking forward to a great day. I couldn't be more encouraged. We have some folks who have made some lead gift challenges and pledges that will encourage others to participate. So yeah, look forward to the one-day giving challenge. And I'll make a quick connection here. I don't know how much you've talked about the tuition or pricing reset in this thing, but coming out of Impact, one of the things that we could really celebrate and kind of hang our hat on was the incredible growth of our endowment. So heading into the campaign, Houghton's endowment was just about $35 million, modest at best. At the end of last month, that endowment had grown to $67 million. And what does that mean? That means, particularly in the affordability question, the number of new endowed scholarships and the growth of existing endowed scholarships means that we could go and reset our tuition, and there is no more unfunded financial aid. So the Student Scholarship Fund and the scholarships that are created from our endowed funds are now fully funding any scholarship aid that we give to students. There are no more games, and we can be very simple and transparent in our pricing approach, and this is being received really well by families and prospective students. And so when we talk about the One Day Giving Challenge and gifts to the Student Scholarship Fund, you have full assurance that those dollars are being given and then redirected right into students and the families who need it most to help access a Houghton education. So we're just extremely grateful for that.
Yeah, and as was mentioned earlier, Karl and his office have helped tremendously in generating funding to help us pay for testing. And the One Day Giving Challenge has actually been an opportunity in recent years for our department to partner with them and help with that day. And that day becomes really a day of adrenaline on campus, and you get excited.
It's a competition.
And for me, it's a day where I just get to call a bunch. What I end up doing, I just call people, all former players. I just call people up, and it's a chance for me to re-engage with guys that played for me over the years, and just reconnect, and it's a lot of fun. So
yeah, and one of the fun ways to compete, we introduced the class challenge a few years ago, and there's a donor who steps up and says, "Hey, I'll give a $25,000 prize, an endowment that your class can name for an endowed scholarship." And it has been great to watch these classes compete. And last year we introduced the Decade Challenge. And so for the 7 decades dating back to the 1950s, the class who has the greatest number of donors on the day gets a student scholarship in their name for that coming year as well. So that's created some really fun and healthy competition on the day too.
Yeah, that's fun. Hey, thanks, Karl, for being here with us. I was just thinking here, we need to wrap up, but with the complex, you see the field behind us. One of the things that's been neat, and again, this is really due to a partnership, but our athletic advisory board, which Karl serves on as well, but partners with us to sort of adopt projects that they want to adopt and help fund things that are needs for sort of capital improvements, facility improvements for athletics. And so we're in the process of seeing a lot of that come to realization. We just put in a whole bunch of new technology to enhance all of our sound stuff at all our baseball field, Burke, softball field here in the K-Pac. We're getting new mounds.
New scoreboard
was put in. I don't know if you can actually see it, but we're getting new turf in our batting cages. We got a new backstop on the baseball field, new mounds for the baseball field, new tarp for the softball field, new fencing, batting cages for softball. We're looking at some bigger improvements, both in Nielsen and here at the K-Pac, just some larger things. And
stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that. But there's a lot of exciting things happening that are moving forward, and we've got an awesome facility as it is. In fact, I've said to our coaches, we played a soccer game last week. Our men's soccer team played, and we've been out here for 3-4 weeks practicing every day outside because we can plow the field. The team that came in to play us, their AD told me they'd been outside twice, and their coach had said, "Well, we're really good at 3-yard passes on a hardwood floor." and just they didn't have the facility. They couldn't be outside. There's snow, and we won the game. And part of it is we were afforded the luxury of being able to use these facilities that we have. And it really is. I mean, sitting here on a patio, looking out over the field is pretty cool. Yeah. So anyhow, thanks, Karl. Appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Yep.
Good night.
Which is good.